It's episode 7 of the Improv London podcast, with this week's guest, Sarah McSorley.
You must wake up.
Wake up, man.
Wake up, child. Pay attention.
Welcome, gentle listener, to episode 7. It will come as no great surprise to you that I had a great time talking to Sarah and as ever, listened back to the podcast before releasing it and laughed all over again. So lots of highlights. Hear about Sarah's experiences with Toastmasters, hear what she thinks of Paul Merton, and find out a little bit about applied improvisation as well. And I'd just like to say a big thanks to the team at Duck Duck Goose, particularly Mark and Vic, for letting us use their Churchill room at the Afro Social, especially as we hadn't exactly asked. So thank you very much for that. In retrospect, it was great to have your support, and I'm hoping that Vic will be a guest soon on the podcast. Do enjoy.
So now I take the opportunities. Wonderful teachers ready to teach me.
How have you been?
Good, thanks. Yes. It's been so long since I last saw you.
It's the magic of radio. Yes, so I thought we could talk about all sorts of things. Mm-hmm. How you got into improv, the particular forms of improv that you know about, your take on them,
Yeah.
that sort of thing.
Okay, oh gosh.
Yeah, so how did you get into improv? Where does your improv story start?
So my improv story starts about 2 years ago. And I just finished doing an MA in Art and Heritage in Maastricht in the Netherlands. And during that course, I thought I was quite funny. That's basically what it boils down to. Is that I thought I was funny. And I went to a Toastmasters there, and they're really massive on Toastmasters. And I don't know if you've ever done Toastmasters.
No, I haven't. Tell me what it's like.
So Toastmasters is this huge global organisation of people that like to do speeches and public speaking and things like that, and there's a lot of clapping involved.
Hey, well,
we
all love applause. That's why we're all in this business.
Yeah, and people, they have a whole course, people go through these books and things, and they follow this curriculum to improve their public speaking, and there's all this it kind of ties in, I guess, with debating and things, and you're timed, and it just seems to just be an awful lot of clapping involved.
Hey.
So whenever someone else talks, you've got to clap them off, and then
Brilliant.
lots of hand shaking. But so that bit didn't really appeal to me. But one bit that did was the table topics element, and that was where you just get, someone would prepare some random topics to talk on, and then you just, go for it, and then someone would be timing you, and then you couldn't go over.
Right.
And they have the green and the red cards and things like that. And then they'd count your ums. Oh yeah, they had official timekeeper. They'd count your ums and your ahs and stuff like that. But that was my first sort of dabble into it was structured, but it was improvisation. But it also made me realise that was funny as well. Yeah. So that was kind of I'm funny. Cool. Well, I still think I am. I don't know. Maybe they're just laughing.
How did you end up in Maastricht?
Oh, I used to work. That's a long story. I used to work for KPMG doing finance, admin, and analysis, and it was just soul destroying. And I just thought anything's got to be better than this. And I thought I'd give an MA a go because I studied landscape architecture initially.
Landscape architecture being?
Landscape architecture, most people go, is that just like gardening? I kind of go, it depends on what mood I'm in. I would go no, or I go yeah. But it can kind of be a small gardening, or it can be town planning, urban design, environmental consultancy work. If someone wants to build a huge power station, you have to do an impact assessment. Urban and sort of street design, parks and spaces, anything that's in between a building. Right. Pretty much what landscape architecture covers. So that degree went well, and that career path, which resulted in nothing after I finished uni, and I ended up just working in finance afterwards, just because that was the only thing I could get a job in. And after sort of pursuing this sort of accountancy type stuff for a few years. I was just like over it. I was like, oh, this is horrible. This is like the worst thing ever. Like I was working at KPMG, Canary Wharf, which is like ticks all boxes on like, oh, this is a good business, but it was just really horrible. Every day I'd go in and sit in this open plan office. No one would talk to each other. Everyone was so defensive, and I used to to try and break up the monotony of this really horrible job that I had to do and go and confront people about their finances. I used to write them poems.
Yeah.
Well, it's like the whole department. These were not like individual poems to specific people, and just remind them to do stuff.
You used to write them poems to remind them to do stuff?
Yeah, because they never do it, and they never read my emails.
But if you wrote them a poem, this had more effect?
Yeah, and sometimes there'd be some poetry back and forth between like the accountants, which was quite funny.
Are we all right here, Mark?
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell us if we're in your way. That's Mark Tyndall, star of previous episode.
Hello, yes, I'm just going to...
You're crashing my podcast.
I am, and I'm going to back away now. I don't want to be that guy.
Totally upstaging me.
I can hardly do that now. We all know the truth of that one.
Plus, we have stolen your room, so it is only fair that...
I'll be super quiet.
Okay, no worries. No worries. So, yes.
So, yeah.
Poems in the office. I think that's... Did you not think that that's going to hideously backfire? I'm glad it didn't. But did you not think this could go either way? It could either work or not.
Things were so bad. it could only get better. And it was just to prompt people to do this really boring job that they all were meant to do, like, at the end of each week, but they never would do. So I just thought, well, let's break it up a bit. See what happens.
But the poetry wasn't enough, and so you decided to do an MA.
Yeah, that was like my creative side trying to like come out. It was like being like suppressed for too long. You could do creative accounting, but that wasn't really like I couldn't really get involved in that. Yeah. So yeah, that's when I was like, okay, right, this creative side is not going away. It's going to have to be addressed. So that's one. And doing a degree in landscape architecture, you're quite narrow into what other degrees you can do. So I was quite limited to where I could go, and also cost as well. So that's why I went to Holland and failed that MA.
Oh no! What was that MA in?
Art and Heritage Policy Management and Education.
Whoa!
But I learnt some important things.
Educate us. Give us your wisdom. Give the listeners of the podcast your wisdom.
This is going to be... They're going to be so disappointed. Because it's just about me again. It's like, I realised that I didn't need a bit of paper to prove that I learnt stuff. So I kind of got quite anti-establishment in kind of like, universities, I don't need a bit of paper to prove that I know stuff, because it was my thesis that got failed.
Right. I
took it really badly, actually. I like the failing of that. And I resubmitted, and this guy was still like, no. And I couldn't get to the bottom of it, and... It was a really horrible point in my life. It was shattering, because then I didn't have a job. I'd left this so-called good job at an accountancy firm and all of that. And so I've got like a really hard time with like everyone around me. They're like, what are you doing? I'm like, I don't know. And so during that kind of point of like not knowing I'd failed and coming back from Holland... and really realising that I was funny. That's another important thing I realised. It's the second most important thing. And it was a Toastmasters that I then did a acting and stand-up course.
Oh, right. Tell me about that.
At Deptford Theatre with Harry Denford.
I've never done stand-up, and it's one of those things you think, actually friends of mine have told me just not to.
It was a really amazing experience, because the other people on the course, it was a really small course, there's only 3 of us. One of the guys really wasn't funny, and he wanted to be taught how to be funny, and I felt so sorry for him.
Can you teach people how to be funny?
No. No. End of. And then, and the other guy he was alright as well. He was doing some stand-up before. So that was like an intense week of like acting and insight into stand-up. And
what sort of exercises did you have to do? Do you remember?
So like some of the things like generating material for stand-up. There's a lot of writing lists, and then you'd kind of like have columns, maybe like get a bit of paper, divide it into 5 columns, and then start with a word, start writing down like word association, then pick a word from that, and then go again. and then go again, and then go again, and go again, and then pick a word from the first list and the last list and try and create some content out of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds hard. But
Yeah.
then I'm not funny, so that's...
Aw. You make me laugh.
Well, thank you very much. As long as I make one person,
Yeah.
two people.
And then, so at the end result of that was doing a showcase at Up the Creek in Greenwich.
Wow.
And getting to experience all like the lights and being on stage and things like that, and doing a set, but doing a really tight set.
Right, yes.
And I just remember the two people before me were dire.
Oh, no.
And the guy was like, I'm not going to let you go on there if you're crap. And I was like, oh my God, this is going to be horrendous. He's just like, I've just seen two people absolutely die on stage before me. They were so bad the compere had to go back on.
Really? To try and get the crowd back on side?
Yeah,
Oh,
and there's nothing unfunnier than a room of wannabe comedians waiting to go on stage.
Yeah, then none of them are laughing because, first of all, they don't want you to seem more popular than them, and also they're analysing all the jokes, going, yes, humour occurred.
Yeah.
I have a problem with stand-ups, but that's my own issue.
Yeah, there is
Not
like...
all stand-ups.
Yeah, this is kind of an element of that involved. And so I spent, sort of a couple of days writing this tight set and like practicing it and then delivering it, and it went really well. I even got heckled and I put that cow down.
Excellent.
Boom. It was like a really good experience. And like the adrenaline high afterwards is like amazing. It was like the fastest my heart had like ever beaten. It just shows how little exercise I do. But, like, it was like boom, 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 boom. And then on reflection, I was like, that's just so much hard work for 3 minutes. Like, like the stress and the angst, like beforehand. And then I kind of started thinking back to, I remember like improv. Why can't I just do that? Like, and I looked into doing improv like a couple of years ago, and there wasn't really anything happening in London. Maybe like 5 years ago or so.
When you say you remembered improv?
I remember seeing improv like Whose Line Is It Anyway from TV. That's basically the extent of my...
That's what most people see.
And a little bit of knowledge about Paul Merton. That was about it.
Have you read his book?
No.
Good, not enough improv. I mean, maybe I'm a very specific audience.
It was to do like with the MTV Awards or Brit Awards, like I can't remember, comedy awards. There was some sort of award show he did, and something like went wrong, and he had to and he improvised this like big thing. It was quite funny.
Excellent.
And it was kind of like one of those like TV moment classics. Those awful programs. So I ended up doing improv because I'm too lazy to do stand-up. It's basically what it boils down to, is that stand-up was too much hard work. And improv seemed like a good thing to do. So that was...
You looked into it a while ago and there didn't seem to be much going on.
years ago. Like, so I don't have an acting background. I've never done until a couple of years ago. I'd never done it. It's never been on my horizon. But improv was something I'd always been interested in, and it's kind of popped up like a couple of times, like just occasionally, like in my life. And at that time in London, there wasn't really anything happening or anything I felt that was accessible, because some of the things that of the schools that are in London is that the aim of this is to perform, and I really didn't feel confident enough to. I mean, it's one thing to go on stage and talk essentially what was like a monologue. It's like generated from you and like all your observations, but then to go and perform with other people, I'd never done that. So the first improv I did in London was at the Improvisation Academy with Paul Z. Jackson, who's also the president of the Applied Improvisation Network, and that was a really amazing experience because it was all the short form games that, if you're familiar with performance improv, you would do, but the debriefing of it was... it was almost like therapy in a way, because it was a good confidence boost to also reflect on my own behaviours in my life, and having failed this MA, which happened just previously to doing it. It was like it was a really good process to go through. Like, how do you deal with failure, and how do you bounce back from that, and how do you move on from from shit. Basically, shit happens, and that was really big. That was a big shit.
Yes.
And that was awful. So yeah, finding ways to just check in with yourself.
Right.
And be aware. And I wasn't aware of how stressed I'd been until doing that. And I realised I'd been stressed for years, and I never really checked in. But I found doing the workshops with Paul that I just was like, oh my god, I need more of this. I was like a junkie. I was like, I need more of this. So he recommended that I do a workshop with Sprout Ideas.
I want to talk about Sprout Ideas. I just want to talk a little bit more about, before we move on, to this kind of debriefing idea, because with the short form games, I sort of understand what they are, but what is this debriefing process?
Okay,
because
so
I really want therapy, basically. This is my roundabout way of getting it.
trying to get free therapy.
We're already on a couch.
Yeah, we are sitting on a really nice leather couch. Yeah. So with the debriefing aspect, because like with the Improvisation Academy, the course is not aimed for performing, but all the core skills that you do in improv are transferable into your day-to-day life. So listening, communication, eye contact, body language.
Hello, Vic. We are, yes. But this is your room, so you can do what you like. I've seen Mark. He's tidied up the chairs. He's sorted out the chairs. It was chair sorting.
I'm going to leave you
Oh, thank you. I didn't realise well, you come in whenever you need to come in, because it's your room and we've stolen it, so.
About 20 minutes.
Lovely.
Lovely to see you.
Thank you. Nice to see you too. Debrief.
So yeah, be prepared.
Yes.
What was I saying? Yeah, so like if you're listening, communication, like eye contact, body language, status, anxiety, kind of the things that are kind of brought up and addressed for me. So with the games, I mean, it's particularly like when it kind of we come at it from an angle for like at work or doing presentation skills, or something happens unexpectedly and you've got to deal with it and you don't want to. I mean, I was quite happy sending poems around to people at work, but I think a lot of other people might want to conduct themselves in a more serious manner. Yeah, I'd given up at that point. And so people carry around loads of anxiety. Is one thing I've realised from doing it. And with the debriefing of the games, even if it's just start off like a name game, and then perhaps go on to playing something like Zip Zap Zop. And these are like really low stakes. No one's going to die in this game. No one is going to, tell you off or point at you and laugh at you if you lose. Although I think sometimes that does happen in performance improv. But But for people who've not done improv before, it's really about like creating a safe space to like take risks, and the risks are in playing the games. And just feeling confident to, make eye contact with someone and move across the room and switch spaces. Really low stakes games. But doing that gets them to kind of think, actually, it's not the end. This is just a game, and to get them in the habit of making eye contact or vocalising something on the hoof. And so it's kind of getting people just to step outside their comfort zone, but really giving them so important, like the safe spacing, to take that risk. Because if you haven't got, safety and trust, like with the teacher, then risk taking is totally compromised. And it's the same for performance improv as well. Like if you don't feel like, as a performer, if you don't feel safe, and then you can trust like those around you, then you're going to be more in your head. And with the short form games, it's kind of about getting people out of their head and just to be in the moment. So like with the games, you can't, if something's a name or something's getting passed around a circle, you don't know where that's going to go. So you've really got to listen to the person that's before you. So you've really got to be in the moment. You really not got to get interrupted. You have people coming into a room.
It's their room. We're squatting.
Yeah, because then that interrupts the flow, and so like you won't be like, okay, how can we win this game? It will be how can with the debriefing you don't kind of you invite them to say like, how did that feel? How could this work better? And hopefully like the group will sort of suggest it themselves, or sometimes they'll try it, and if it's a game they'll game, can't think of if it's got a particular name, but you'll be moving around a room, then you'll say, okay, right, only 2 of you move, and then the rest will stop, and then okay, now 5 of you move, and the group will like self-regulate itself.
Right.
Some people will try and strategize that, and then you kind of like try and veer them away from strategizing, because it's about, okay, no one's going to die. If 3 of you are moving, I'm sure one of you will stop at some point. And just being in the moment, more in tune with each other. So that's kind of how I would say like the elements that I did of the improvisation, they're just like the core foundations of like any good improv is like your listening skills. And sometimes you'll do like short story stuff as well, and you'll be like, you're so like if you're making a sentence and they've just completely used a word that's not grammatically correct, and they're trying to control the story, so letting go as well, and just being like, it's just a story, no one's, this is low stakes stuff.
Yes.
I feel like sometimes that gets a bit lost in the performance side of improv, with making people feel safe to take risks, and also not being in their head about stuff. I don't know if it depends on what background they've come into it from, but it seems like there's always a benefit from going back to short form games and doing like the listening and eye contact stuff, and making those really, really strong, because then you can like gel people. Well, people will gel together. You can't make them gel, but like, the idea is that you have like a group of people that are like really in tune with each other, and that makes yes anding so much easier if they're all on the same page and they've all got fantastic listening and communication, eye contact, and body language skills.
Cool. Yes, I think sometimes short form gets looked down upon because it's the one that was on the TV, and it's the one that a lot of people start with. But having seen a couple of short form groups perform last week at the Launchpad, I suddenly thought, oh yeah, no, I really love this, and this done well is a joy, and it's just great fun, and there's enough room for both long and short form to exist. Yeah,
I agree. There's a slight bit of snobbery with people who are like totally into long form, and it's like all they do. I don't really understand where that comes from, or how it could, because improv's such a fringe art anyway. Do you know what I mean? It's just like, okay, you're not going to be on at the National. Sorry, but you're not going to be getting a BAFTA, or so. But you never know. You never know.
I mean, any kind of subculture, then the next person along is the person who's your worst enemy. It's like to outsiders, long form and short form, it's all improv. But if you're doing one and suddenly the other one, oh no, that's completely different. We hate them. The same with brass bands. It's the same with.
What? Hang on a minute. It's the same with brass bands.
In brass bands.
Enlighten me. I have nothing. I have no idea about brass bands. I'm sure there's people that don't either.
Between different brass bands and sewing, for example. Sewing is a more recent example. I've got friends who are into sewing, and the machine sewers look down on. Is it the machine sewers that look down on the hand sewers, and the hand sewers look down on the machine? I don't know. It's a sort of thing where if you're outside, it seems the same thing, but if you're in it, it's really different, and you really hate the other ones.
So there's a whole network of competitive sewing out there.
Yeah. Any kind of subculture, anything like that, that you should be united because it's basically the same thing. They're like split into different groups, and they go, oh, those machine knitters, they're not real knitters or whatever.
Okay, I'll take your word for it.
Really exposing my lack of knowledge about sewing and knitting there, as if they're interchangeable, which obviously they're not. No. Sorry, all the sewing and knitting fans listening.
Yeah, I wouldn't go for sewing machines. It's probably knitting machines. But if you're doing like a fine knit,
yeah,
like it's you'd probably want to use a machine, because the needles you'd have to use would be tiny.
Yeah,
So I
tiny
think it
needles.
depends on what you're trying to use,
Tiny
what you're trying to
needles
make.
is an issue.
For a comparison, I'd probably go for embroidery and cross stitch.
Yeah.
Or people that do cross stitch, but they don't follow the pattern, they do freeform cross stitch.
Oh my god, those people blow my mind.
Don't even get me started on metalwork.
No. Gonna just.
Which is like a type of thing you do in embroidery.
Is it?
Yeah, you can do like gold stitching and things like that, and the thread is metal around it.
Well, like with a soldering iron and stuff.
No, you don't.
'Cause I would've
Bust
thought-
out a soldering iron.
Because I would have thought the risk of fire of your what's that thing you put the thing into, the needle into when you're doing your. Yeah, it's all
You're
right.
doing hand movements, which is not going to work.
Not going to work for you. And I was just going to hope you were going to catch me there.
Well,
You know, like when you're doing embroidery.
yeah, I've
and
got a needle and thread.
Yeah, what's the other bit?
What the like the fabric?
The fabric. That's it.
Oh, like amazingly technical.
I thought
Yeah.
there's going to be more technical terms. It's not just. I suppose it is fabric. I'm thinking of needlework
Or
where
it
you've
could
got
be.
the little holes in it
Yeah,
that
it
you
could
go in and out.
be.
I mean, I have to say that the needlework fans that have been listening to this podcast from the beginning are really glad they've listened this far. So I've had loads and loads of episodes about improv, but now finally we're getting to the stuff we're actually genuinely interested in.
Yeah, it's improvised needlework. It's not just for girls.
No, it's for everyone, yes.
But okay, right, no. But if you're talking about snobbery and
Yes.
things like that, there is artwork that is like quilting and any artwork that's like quilting and textile artwork that does use embroidery and even machine stitching on top of it. The art world, having done a failed MA in art and heritage, and my prestige to talk about the subject. Yeah. There is a snootery because it's not an oil painting. It's not an old master.
Yeah.
It's not. And even when you look at like the things that tapestries in like old houses and things like that, they never ever say who made it. But that will be something that's worth, I don't know, a couple of 100,000 or whatever.
Wow.
But you never know who made it. I think there is a way. Some of the works have got. We've really diverted off improv. They are signed. I know who some of them are, but and a lot of them were actually men in like the 16th century tapestries and things like that from Bruges and Belgium and places like that.
I did not know that.
Well, I would say they're getting value for money, but it's for free. So
It's interesting.
they can't complain.
Well, they could just not listen,
Yeah.
and that would hurt.
Well, I mean, they're about half hour in, so if they got this far, they probably deserve a prize.
Yes. Sprout Ideas.
Yeah, so...
Tell me about them, because I've never done anything with them either.
Oh, this was Dave Bourne. He's so lovely.
Hooray, because it's really awkward when a guest goes, oh yeah, I think they're really awful
That person's a
person."
real...
And then I'm like, well, I don't
Arsehole.
edit, so,
Okay. No. So after getting, my first hit of improv at the Improv Academy, I then went to Sprout Ideas with Dave Bourne, and he also runs Funny Side comedy nights in London. And so I did a few things with Sprout. It was more just short form games really, and just playing with improv. And I did a couple of workshops there, and just got more into it. And I think at that point I'd also started going to the Applied Improvisation Network meetings as well.
right.
There's like a monthly meeting.
So what happens at the Applied Improvisation Network?
Oh, who knows? We just make it up. All sorts.
Okay, so explain what Applied Improvisation is then.
Applied Improvisation.
Your take on it. I'm not saying this has to be the Wikipedia edition.
Oh, I can't get that on there. I've tried. It's really hard. They're really funny. Okay, Applied Improvisation. So, what can I say that makes me sound intelligent? Applied Improvisation, I would go for... so there's a kind of like using improv like for like your personal sort of development. So going to things like the Improv Academy and using games to like check in with yourself and being aware of how you react in certain situations, how you want to improve yourself or your confidence. And then there's another element which is to do with using improv, so exercises and activities and games from the short form genre, to to facilitate change for hopefully the benefit of mankind.
Nice. That's
or
what
corporate greed.
Oh well, either of the two. They
Yeah.
seem pretty similar.
Yeah, we all want to
That's
work.
me shaking my head.
Yeah, we all want to get a corporate gig.
Yeah, obviously I am available for corporate gigs. I think that's very much what this podcast is aimed at me getting.
Yeah.
It's like
And needlework.
Yeah, and I'm trying to get into needlework. They're very strict.
Yeah. So one thing that the Applied Improvisation Network has recently done, they've just come back from the climate change talks in Paris.
Oh right, COP21.
Yeah. So we sent a facilitator out there who's part of the Applied Improvisation Network, Belina Raffi, and she was facilitating some of those talks. So she would have been using applied improvisation exercises, games, activities to do that. So that's kind of like the big scale stuff is like with NGOs. So that was at the climate change talks, but it was via the Red Cross, Red Crescent climate change groups, and they've got people that are like scientists and that's their thing, but they do applied improvisation as well, and they take that out into the field and use that to use these exercises and games to educate people on a certain topic or subject or I've never experienced it in that situation. Amazing. But there's a lot of people out there doing some amazing stuff using improv, using applied improvisation. So we had a conference this year in Montreal, and that was really, really good fun.
So what happens at an applied improv conference in Montreal then?
What happens? So people we'll have some we do things called AINX talks. So we'll have a couple of keynotes each day. So it runs from like a Thursday to a Sunday. And the events will be taking place on a Friday, Saturday, and then people will be going on Sunday. And there'll be some keynote talks from people working in different fields, whether that be like in the humanitarian sector or in corporate, or they're academics, like in psychology. The list is, and there's like you get your techie nerds as well. And then after that, that's normally like in the morning. And then after that, there'll be people can offer to do workshops on certain things. So it could be exploring. Oh God, you could be exploring like games for exercises for like dealing with a humanitarian crisis, or like in the aftermath, or it could be for preparedness, or it could be how to pitch yourself because. People don't really know what improvisation is, let alone applied improvisation. So it's a hard sell. Yeah. So there's people that are offering business advice as well as how to develop your practice as an applied improviser. And then there's an open space as well. And there was even some graphic facilitation skills. So people can offer like loads of amazing things. Could be, you get a chance to run a workshop. And
did you run a workshop?
No, I didn't. I just went for fun.
Hooray!
I went for fun and drinks. And next year's conference is going to be in Oxford.
Cool.
In August. So any improvisers out there that want to get involved in applied improvisation, it's a good time to get involved because there's going to be so many people coming over from the States, and there's just so many amazing improvisers. Not all from the US, but a large chunk of them are, and also from Canada. And it's just a really good opportunity to network as well and expand your improvisation repertoire.
Yes.
Because having done applied improv and then now I'm kind of like on the performance kind of end of it. Like I feel like if I hadn't done the applied stuff, my performance stuff wouldn't be as interesting or as good, and I wouldn't feel as confident.
Yes.
Because not having that background, but also having experienced different types of teachers.
Yes.
And like realising that, okay, it's like RST, risk, safety, trust. That's like the little thing. That if the safety and trust are there, then the risk element, which is what you want people to do, is to take risks.
Yes.
Is it's compromised.
Yes. So, what sort of when you're talking about safety and trust, what sort of things are you thinking about here?
safety and trust.
In the classroom setting,
In a classroom
in an
setting.
improv classroom.
Yes. So I did this one workshop, and this and the teacher there was someone on the course who probably needed to go back a step,
Right.
and they were being overstretched, and he was so rude to her.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, it was embarrassing.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about this the other day, is that why I didn't feel too bothered by this, why I still felt like I could take risks. And that was because that teacher never won my trust to lose it.
Right. Okay.
And
that sounds like the best of a bad situation.
and because I was like, okay, I had experienced so many other amazing improvised teachers before,
Right. Yes.
that I really did not give a shit about what he thought about me. So
Right, yes.
so like the risk element wasn't compromised because that person they didn't need my trust for me to take risks. But when you're kind of pushing someone,
Yes.
and I can only speak as a participant, sometimes when I feel like if someone's getting pushed, then that element of safety is important, because, and it's like that saying goes, like, trust is, what was it? How's it go? Trust is easy to win, but hard to gain back. Well, no,
Right.
trust is easy to lose, hard to gain back.
Right. Okay.
That's it.
I've not heard that before.
No, trust is easy to lose, but hard to regain.
Right. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
That kind of sounds, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it can be like anything, and as long as people feel that they are safe to take risks, and whether that be like in terms of feedback or criticism or side coaching, as long as that's done like in a professional way, you don't know what, because it's kind of like, I feel like the performing side, performers could benefit from doing some applied improv, because it's about checking in with themselves and
Right.
knowing how they're going to react to stuff and how they're feeling.
Yes.
And some people come in with so much ego, and that's not just performing. That's like teachers as well. It's not kind of like, we've all got it. It's not like it's not the end of the world, but just check in with yourself, because you don't want to upset someone. You don't know what stuff they're carrying around.
Yeah.
If they're not as robust as perhaps like you thought, then that could be really upsetting to someone if they're not robust enough to be able to sort of bounce back from that.
Yes, and it must be. I mean, it must be one of the challenges of teaching to. One of the good things to do is to give the most useful piece of feedback, rather than thinking, right, there are 12 things I could tell this person. It's a case of choosing the most useful bit of feedback, but also being aware of, how strong or how resilient that person is.
Yeah.
Because there are some days when, I want everything they can think of, and then there are other times I just want them to think that I'm good, even if I'm not good. But how, as a student, I communicate to that teacher? Well, I don't think I do necessarily. So how they're supposed to know, I don't know. But anyway, it's a thing.
Something to be aware of.
Yes. So you did Sprout for a while,
Yep.
and then what happened next?
And then I did a few other workshops in London, and did some Second City when they came over.
Oh, right, cool. How was that?
It's amazing. Of course, it was amazing. And that was with Lisa Merchant.
What sort of things? So what was her kind of, what was different about her teaching or her courses?
Well, I was doing characterisation. I kind of think also it's you get exposed to a different group of people.
That's always good. Yeah.
Especially with like sort of these biggie like name ones as well, and the heavyweights come over, because I think on that most of the people were actors or wannabe actors.
That's interesting.
And that's when I go back to this like core improv skills, like listening and communication, and I don't know whether that's something that gets skimmed over.
In accents, sure.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not classically trained, so I don't know.
Really?
No.
Surprise me.
Well, no.
You're so Shakespearean.
Yes.
How you hold yourself.
Yes, well, I should probably stop doing that, really. That's why it's a podcast, not a video.
Yeah. So being exposed to people who would class themselves as actors rather than improvisers was interesting as well, because they've got so many other strengths that I don't have in terms of like, you know, they can vocalise much more clearly and stage presence and confidence.
Yes.
However, so like individually they come across as quite well, but sometimes like when it's like the teamwork element, it's a bit like, okay, now play nicely.
Yes. We know you're a star, but you should play with the rest of the group.
And they're quite So I mean, it was good to learn things off them as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm aware I would never class myself as like an actor or a wannabe actor at all.
I would like to have those skills at my disposal because I don't have them, and I think there would be good things I could use in my improv.
Yeah.
But it's a case of, it's one of those things that, yes, I'd love to do that, but it's a time money, it's a time thing, it's a money thing, and where is it on the priorities?
Yeah.
I want to learn to
It's
dance.
not up there?
Well, it's up there, but it's not maybe number one. I want to learn to dance before I learn to act.
Okay.
I just want to have some
So
moves
I
I
want
can
to do.
bust out.
I'd rather do some clowning and mime.
Yeah. Clowning frightens me.
And physical stuff.
Yeah, the thing that I've heard about clowning just terrify me.
Is it the makeup and nose?
Yes. Mainly it's the makeup and the nose. I just feel that I would never feel comfortable again in normal without a nose and makeup. No, it's all to do with. It is mainly that. No, it's all to do with like being really low status, and then like it being in the shit, and like being like I don't know. I don't know if this is all clowning or this was one particular clowning I was hearing about. I can't remember who it was, and I'm like, I don't know really if I want to explore that side of me.
Is it along the lines of that with like comedy and improv? Is that you're creating a humorous? Well, not necessarily humorous, but you're creating a situation together with someone. But with clowning, you are the joke.
Yeah, that's right. That's why I like improv rather than clowning. While knowing nothing really about clowning at all. So
Yeah. I know. I think it'd be really interesting.
Yes, I think it would be interesting, and if you wish to do it, I'd love to hear about it.
Okay, come on. Maybe that's something I'll explore in the new year if I get the chance.
What other things, if you had infinite time and money, would you study?
Yeah, probably physical theatre.
It's your room. You've got to come in. Sorry,
We're getting crashed.
We crashed. Hello.
Okay.
Yes, we're very well, thank you. Yes, we're nearly done. But yes, I realise
Are you done or you're done?
we'll go outside and finish off. It's all right. Ooh. But this is your room, so you can kind of. Vic, do you know Sarah? Sarah, do you know Vic?
No.
Hello.
Hi, nice to meet you. This is great.
Are you staying for the show?
Yes.
Oh, excellent.
Yes, of course.
Right.
It's an amazing place. This. I've never been here before.
They've been here.
Yes.
Yeah, it's wicked. We like it. But actually, I don't know what numbers are going to be like tonight because it's trains are not very good tonight.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they're being a bit funny tonight. But
Last one before Christmas.
it's almost too small this room now for us.
Oh right.
Yeah, it seems to get regular numbers. Okay.
Some breaking and entering happening.
We should probably go outside and finish.
And you say you don't edit this?
Yeah, I don't really.
Are you
really
sure?
edit this. Well, I might edit a little bit. I edited some of the fire alarm out in episode 1, but not
okay.
too much.
I have a request like with your intro music that you put on a little snippet from Kate Bush, Them Heavy People,
Sure.
because it reminds me of improv people.
Oh right, okay.
That's my little
Heavy
recommend.
people,
Them heavy people hit me in a soft spot. Them heavy people help me. Yeah.
Let us get out of the duck goose people's way,
Yeah.
and I'll try and think of a big, exciting question to wrap this up with.
We can do like and then a bomb exploded.
How often do you think most companies
This looks like a massive wang. I'm going to go around and stick it on enough. Could you
He does sound like a massive.
Bye, sofa. No. This is your room. This is your room. That's fine.
See you in a bit, guys.
Yes, we'll see you in a bit.
Lovely.
Cheers. So, and here we are going into the bar area. Oh, the lights have gone off. That was terrifying.
Finish it at the bar.
If we didn't shit at the bar, yes, that would be in no way. Wow, it's got a lot busier, hasn't it? Maybe we could sit down. Yeah.
Candle lights as well.
Well. Yes, I do sort of feel the pressure to have a big finish now to make it worthwhile listening to all of this.
Oh, you got to cut this out, surely.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm a busy man. It's kind of verite.
I mean, if they've even got this far, I'd be impressed. They're 45 minutes of their life that they're never going to get back.
Yeah, but I like to think they've been doing other stuff while they've been doing this. So,
Washing up.
Yeah, washing up, you know.
Yeah.
Well, I really hope, and I genuinely hope that people find my podcast soothing and use it when they want to go to sleep. I wouldn't mind that. I'd quite like that because, you know, it's nice to have a podcast sometimes.
Could you do improv for sleep?
Oh, yeah. I said, oh, yeah, because I'm trained as an improviser to yes and you. Yeah, you could improvise how to go to sleep.
Or improv exercises to get to sleep.
Yes. Oh, that's my training coming through again without actually having any way to justify that.
Or improv to listen to whilst you're asleep. Like those sort of hypnosis
I love
tapes.
those hypnosis tapes.
That kind of will, make you, I don't know.
I love Paul McKenna.
Really?
I love the Paul McKenna hypnosis CD. Apart from...
Are you getting paid to plug that?
No, I'm not. But if Paul McKenna wants to sponsor this podcast, I will take his money. No, genuinely do. There is one, though, that is a bit disturbing. There's one called, I don't know, it's called something like I Can Make You Feel Good. It's not called that. It's not called that, but it's something like that.
Is this like when you wake up in the morning, it's like, it goes that whole, for 8 hours?
It's not 8 hours long. You could put it on repeat. But and he starts asking you to count down backwards from 300, 299, 298, 297, etc. And then, if you've got headphones on or whatever, you're getting the stereo effects, and he's like, you're in a warm cave or whatever. Okay. But there's this one bit where he's going, "You're looking really good," and I thought, whoa, that's taken me out of my trance, Mr. McKenna. I'm sorry, but I was feeling all secure and cherished, and now I'm just feeling slightly creeped out.
So you're not recommending?
Well,
not that one.
I felt creeped out, and then I thought, well, I still feel a bit cherished, actually. I mean, it's a sleazy kind of cherished, but still, I felt cherished is better than not being cherished at all.
You take whatever you can get.
Well, sometimes.
I mean, Paul McKenna's a busy man, so... Is it Paul McKenna?
Yes.
Paul McKenna?
Yes.
Wow. So we've covered embroidery, hypnosis, dodgy Paul McKenna tapes.
Well, I'm just aware that I have a limited amount of things that I say about improv, and if I talk about improv all the time...
you'll be exposed as a fraud.
Yeah, exactly.
Because we all know what we're doing.
Yeah, but most of us aren't recording lots of podcasts and then saying the same thing every week.
I can't comment because I've not listened to all your previous ones.
You haven't listened to all my previous episodes? Well, that's very disappointing. How many have you listened to?
One.
1.5.
1.5.
Well, that's fair enough. There are only 3 out at the moment.
Okay.
Yes.
That's 50% then.
That's 50. Yes, half of them. Yeah. So I feel that we should...
the climactic question.
The climactic question.
Don't worry, I'm used to it.
What are you used to, my dear? A disappointing climax.
Yeah.
Let's just have a cuddle instead.
Is that what Paul McKenna says in his tapes?
Yeah. No.
You look good. Let's just have a cuddle. Yeah. I can make you feel good.
No, it's you're looking really good.
You're looking really good. Let's just have a cuddle.
I hope that people listen to this and are enjoying it in the same way as I enjoy their Paul McKenna. Yes, big finish. This is our big finish.
Okay.
Okay.
Don't talk it up.
Don't talk it up. No, just do it. Okay. How's improv changed your life? How is your life different?
That's a question you're ending with.
Yeah.
And I've kind of got to be quite short in that, haven't I?
No.
That's huge. I mean, I will say it's not an exaggeration if I say that improv saved my life.
Wow.
Seriously, I'm not mucking around when I say that. There you go.
Well, and on that bombshell.
Oh no, not Top Gear.
Is that a Top Gear thing?
Yeah, that's the kind of thing you say, like, and on that bombshell.
I thought it was Alan Partridge.
I'm pretty sure
no.
Clarkson says that when
Oh,
he's doing
no.
Top Gear. Yeah.
I thought that's an Alan Partridge thing.
I'm not sure he's got like a
I'm not saying that Alan Partridge should be my role model because
well, he
obviously,
should be.
But he should be because he's the king of
Back
chat.
in it.
And he also loves Kate Bush.
Does.
So you know.
And he does a lovely rendition of.
Yes. And there's a
Kate
story.
Bush repertoire.
Did you hear the story about when she saw him performing those songs in his show? And
Yeah.
She apparently went, "Oh, it was nice to hear them performed again," or something like that.
Yeah. On it's a sort of a BBC documentary on Kate Bush, and their interview.
That's it. That's right. Sorry. Yeah.
They interview him.
Yes.
Whatever his name is. I still want him to be a real person.
Well, in some ways he is. I just have to say yes all the time. I can't help it when I'm around improvisers. I just have to go yes, and it's just like, it's not true.
Yeah. It's okay to say no, though.
Yes, well, no, it is. Yes, it is. I said saying yes again.
Or is it just rephrasing the yes in that, yes, you're just saying yes to that you've heard what they've said, but it doesn't mean that your reaction has to be a yes
I
to
like.
their offer.
That's what their offer is.
True.
I think that's everything.
Bye, everyone. This ended so weirdly.
It has. I haven't ended it.
Oh.
I could end it now.
You could do.
Some gold might appear now.
Some gold might appear.
Then I can always edit
You
it.
didn't ask me about my drawings.
Your drawings. You didn't ask me
Dude,
about your drawings.
seriously? All this other crap.
Tell me about your drawings.
Knitting and sewing. I'm doing improv stuff.
Yeah, I've lured you here to talk to you about knitting and sewing, and that you have played into my plans there. So you know, your drawings. Tell us about your drawings.
Yeah, so I started doing some drawings.
Hooray!
Oh, my drawings.
Yes.
Thanks. Oh, I didn't think you'd mention those. Those little cartoons. Little things I whip up. I started drawing in response to some shows I've seen and some workshops, and because I started thinking about this is where I get a little bit high arty and poncy.
No, this is what we're here for.
You know, is the integrity of long form improvisation performance compromised when it's recorded? Because you see these videos come up on YouTube from Second City from back in the day, and they are great little gems.
Yes.
But is that still improv because it's been recorded? Is that still And you never see the whole thing; you just see a little glimmer. So I was conscious that there was all these amazing stories that were kind of just getting lost after the shows, and there's no way I'm techie enough to set up a camera and record everything. And there's not really much value in that. The value is in the little goals of nuggets that come out from the show. So after I've watched the show, or possibly even during the show, I'll try and make a mental note of what's been really good, particularly visually. And that's what I love about improv, is that our minds are so amazing, they will just fill in the gaps. So if someone says there's a table there, there's a table there. Or, if someone comments on how someone looks, that's how they look. And so I really was kind of just letting loose my imagination. It's like, okay, when people do that on stage, okay, yeah, I'm seeing that. Or it could be something that they've said. So whenever I try to do a drawing, I'm trying to sum up a whole show in one frame.
Yes.
With either dialogue or not dialogue. No more than one person. If I was drawing two people, they would say more than one line.
Yeah.
And I was really inspired by something I saw at a nursery, and it wasn't something the penny dropped at one point. And I was watching, who was I watching? I was watching Jules Munns and Dave Rosowski, and they were doing this. I think they call it chairs. You know, they like just throw some chairs around, then they do
Throw some chairs around. That's irresponsible podcasting. They walk around with chairs and then the audience member tells them when to sit down. Is that not the case?
I can't remember. Yeah, that sounds about right. That's not the important bit.
Oh, right. No, you are right. That's not the important
Yeah, well, it was good. And at one point they were doing the scene, and I think there was meant to be a ridiculously long table between them, and Wazowski made a comment that, you know, like that Jules' character was fired and he could no longer like be the sort of clown character on TV, and as well about non-verbal stuff. And Jules just like made like he was like taking the clown nose off, and I was just like, oh my god, that's like gem, love that.
Yeah.
Like and so I wanted to capture that moment. In you know, a few simple drawings and lines, and it just kind of like went from there because people like them.
Yes.
And if people like good stuff, then you do more of it.
Oh, yes, and that's not a good enough reason to do it. Yes, it is. It's validation. It's what it's all about. Yeah, but they are really good, and I really like, as you say, the way they capture that moment in the way that, you know, you could watch a video or whatever, but it doesn't capture just the one moment. So
Yeah. I think like the challenge is making them make sense to people who didn't see the show.
Yes.
I mean, at the moment, like they're pretty sure that most of the people have seen them and people that have also seen the show or they've went to that show or, you know, they're in and around the improv world. So that's probably like I mean, I did one the other day and I didn't put any text on it just because the visual was so funny. I just thought it doesn't need any words from it.
Yeah.
So that was more like the character rather than the narrative that came out from that.
Yes.
But yeah, so I just started a sketchbook of like doing these drawings because I've seen so many amazing characters or like little bits of narrative.
Yes.
So I'm just getting lost and I was like, oh, what a waste.
Yes.
Like, someone should be documenting this.
Yes.
And not just filming it because that's boring and lazy and you could probably only really cash in it in like 20 years if like someone's actually made a name for themselves. Yeah, that was kind of, and then also that I suppose is like being collaborative and like the creative element of improv. Is that, in terms of my point of view, is that I'm interested in how improv can stimulate creativity for people who think they're not creative.
Oh, right, yeah.
Because I really hate when people say they can't draw or they can't. I'm like, well, yeah, you can. Like, it's just
Yes.
lines on the paper.
Yes.
And
It's the same way that people get told they can't sing.
Yeah. yeah. I mean, there's just different aesthetics. Like, with drawings, like you can either draw something that's really lifelike, or you can draw something that's really sketchy. But I mean, it's different aesthetics, but they're both essentially just lines on a bit of paper. So, like, what I liked about, well, one thing I like about improv, and partly why I'm so lazy, is that you just say what comes to you, like what comes out.
Yes.
Like, don't think about it. Like,
Yes.
and that's kind of something that I probably do anyway. Like, socially inappropriate comments. I thought, okay, let's not fight that. Let's go with that. Like, that's something I've got. Let's just work that, and just kind of, you know, it's kind of made sense in this world. It's not frowned upon.
Yes. But it's good that we have somewhere to go where being inappropriate is appropriate.
It's not the act of being inappropriate, just saying what it is that what comes out and not checking, not censoring yourself. And often that does mean me being inappropriate. But it doesn't have to be. It's just how it happens. So basically the improv and the creativity bit. So I liked about a lot of artwork is like historic, like art history, like, you know, anything you go see at Take Britain, will be a story. There'll be a story, a biblical story or whatever. So, you know, if we want to tie it into that, we can. But
Yes,
I
we
just
do. We do. Very much would like to tie it
even
into
to carry
that.
on the development of illustration and graphics. Tie it back into some Ponzi old masters.
Yes, that's what I'd like to do.
Okay.
Do it.
It's stretching me at the moment. I did mention I failed, yeah. the fact that I can be inspired to be creative even if I'm not taking part in a show.
Yes. So you're actively involved. Well, you're involved. You're you actively engaged, perhaps.
I mean, like, so yeah, people watch it. There's loads of stuff happening when people watch a show. Like, there'll be emotions will be triggered, and I was inspired to draw that. And then, but also because I just love the art form, applied short form and long form.
Nice.
I just wanted to capture those little moments, and perhaps, you know, they'll lead to something else. Or because I do this website Improv scene.
Link in the show notes.
Yeah, you plug in Paul McKenna, plug in my own little blog. Paul McKenna's tapes get a plug. I'm having my little website on there.
That's a plug it. That's why I was going to put a link in the show notes so people could find it.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, like, you know, oh god, I can't remember what I was going to say now.
You were plugging your website.
I was plugging my website. It's awesome. But yeah. So like, yeah, with and also with a zine, like as in, I mean, people are not. I don't think people over here already come across zines. Zines are like, you know, self-made magazines that are typically printed on bad photocopy paper and heavy in like black ink.
Yes.
And they'll be cover all sorts of topics. So that's kind of like what I wanted to do again. It's like a fringe art form. Fringe creative element, because I'm so rebellious that I like to do things that are on the fringe because the mainstream rejected me.
Hey, we rejected the mainstream first.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
we totally did. Please, all I want to do is belong.
Oh, no. Yeah. So, so I'm sure there's hopefully I think I'm gonna create something with these different characters and like mash them together as sort of like print zine at some point. But
cool.
But really, I'm just like, we can't let all these like amazing improv stories just like flitter up into the air and just go. I like drawing. I like doing that.
Brilliant.
It's one of my things. That's what I do.
Excellent. Sounds good.
Yeah.
We should probably finish it there.
We should probably finish it there. It's going to be like, you know, there's the pitter-patter of ping pong in the background and what music is this? I can work out some sort of soft jazz.
Yeah.
I don't know, soul or something. I don't know.
So we travel back in time to the 1920s speakeasy to record the rest of this.
Oh my god, that would be amazing.
Well, yeah, time travel would be pretty amazing.
Time travel.
I might not do a podcast about it.
No, do a podcast in a a genre format. Interviewed in the style of, you know, like a...
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Film noir. That's it. Or it's sci-fi.
Yeah.
But you would have to be an amazing character, though. You'd have to, because it'd have to be...
Well, I mean...
Set the scene.
I do like the idea of an ongoing narrative for these podcasts, as in that if you listen to them all, you'll get kind of the running jokes or the running things. So it's, you know, eventually I'm going to run out of people on the London scene to speak to. And so then moving into interviewing in character is definitely the next step.
You can video that.
And maybe it depends what kind of characters. I don't know about video. There's something more intimate about audio rather than video.
Yeah, video vlogging. I've never really quite. I mean, I have watched like people's stuff on YouTube, but yeah, I think a conversation. It works.
I mean, we can be in people's ears as they're lying in bed.
Yeah, telling them that they look good.
Yes, you're looking good. You're feeling great.
And listeners should remember that.
Yes, never forget.
Yeah. Should we wave goodbye?
We should wave goodbye because that really works in an audio medium.
Bye bye.
Bye. Wave me bye bye.
I made this.
That's improv!